Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jackie. We are going to do a little bit of a day in the life kind of style video with my ADHD medication journey. So my doctor has decided to switch me onto Vyvanse from Adderall instant release. So I have some mixed feelings about it. I'll do my makeup while I chit chat with you, I guess. If you guys have missed it, I have a few other videos about the journey so far. I started off on Concerta, then I went to Adderall extended release, and then I switched to Adderall instant release. I really did like the Adderall instant release because I had more control over like the timing of the medication, and so it just kind of worked better, and I had a little more control over the dosing as far as like how much I was getting each time. But my doctor wanted to switch me off of Adderall completely. And the reason, there's a few reasons. I lost weight, but it was actually weight that I had gained previously. So we weren't really concerned about that, and I actually lost that weight initially from the Adderall extended release because it killed my appetite versus the instant release. With the instant release, it still suppresses my appetite a little bit, but it doesn't like kill it like completely. So anyway, so I had my follow-up with my doctor. So as of right now, I'm still on my Adderall because they put my prescription in for Vyvanse 30 milligrams. That's the typical starting dose when you're starting Vyvanse for the first time. However, if you look online, the conversion rate from Adderall to Vyvanse is actually quite a bit different. So like I take like 45 milligrams of Adderall. And so if I were to convert that, you're actually going to be on a way higher dose in Vyvanse because Vyvanse isn't the same. But the starting dose for anyone starting Vyvanse is usually is 30 milligrams unless you're, a kid like 6 to 12. My doctor basically was like, how's it going? And I said, well, it's going good. Like I don't have any side effects, which is really good. And I'm still taking it like spread out. Like basically I start with 20 milligrams of Adderall instant release at 6:30 in the morning. And then I take another 10 like 2 or 3 hours later. And then like about 3 or 4 hours later, I take another 10. And then I'll take like another 5 or 10 depending on how I feel. So I'm taking 45 to 50 milligrams a day. My doctor didn't like that I had to keep taking it so many hours. Here's my dilemma. With my Adderall instant release, it totally calms my hyperactivity. I told her, I said it gives me the alertness. It totally calms the hyperactivity. Like the thoughts are completely gone. Like I'm not talking to myself all day. I said, but I'm missing something. I'm like, there's something because now, like, yeah, I'm getting my kids ready for school. I'm getting them to school on time every day. I'm getting myself ready and to work on time every day. I'm showering on my days off. Those are all good things. My mood is stable, which is really good things. I don't have any side effects, which is really good. But now on the backside, my home stuff is not getting done. Like I hadn't cleaned my house in like a month. So as soon as I told her I hadn't cleaned my house in a month, she's like, well, I'm taking you off Adderall completely. We're going to switch to Vyvanse. And I kind of was just like taken back by it because I was like, I wasn't trying to switch my medication. If anything, I thought maybe I just needed something all like added on. I don't know, but I'm not the doctor, right? With my concern with the Vyvanse is because it is another extended release. So my body just wasn't processing the extended release properly. So with the Adderall extended release, I got a lot of side effects. My heart, even though I was on a lower dose. So like I was only on 30 milligrams of extended release, but I take like 45 milligrams of instant release. Like they're totally, they work on my body differently. It's just how it is. So when I was taking the 30 milligrams of extended release, I had a lot of side effects of, like I said, it killed my appetite. I had dry mouth. I had a really hard heartbeat. I feel like I had high blood pressure, and I was clenching a lot. And so I had 2 really good weeks, like productivity-wise, like I was getting everything done, but I felt like I needed a day off from the medicine. So it's because like you can't just sleep in and then take it later. Whereas with the instant release, on my days off, if I want to sleep in and then just take, only 20 milligrams or 30 milligrams, I can do that. But when you're on the extended release, it's either like you wake up and you take it, or you don't really take it. But I was feeling like overstimulated, like I needed that break. And so I would not take it on Saturday, and then I would just sleep most of the day. And I'm like, that's not good. Where now, like I said, I'll take maybe 20 in the morning on Saturday. I'll sleep until 8 instead of 6. I won't get up at 6:30. I sleep until 8. I'll take like 20 milligrams of my instant release, and then sometimes I'm good for the rest of the day because I just needed that initial like alertness to get me awake and going. So that's one concern, is that because I wasn't even digesting the other stuff the right way, I don't know, because I was burning it really fast. The Vyvanse is going to be the same way. Now, Vyvanse is still a stimulant medication. There's a little bit different. So they say that the extended release of Adderall is supposed to last like up to 8 hours. It didn't last that long for me. It lasted maybe 5 hours if I was lucky. With Vyvanse, it's supposed to last longer, like, you know, up like 12, 13 hours or something. But the thing is, you don't digest it the same. So it's not even getting into your system until maybe almost an hour later than like Adderall would. So that makes up, well, yeah, it's going to last. It's going to seem like it's lasting longer because you're going to have more time in the beginning of your day where it's just not effective. So I'm like, I don't want to have to set my alarm for 5:30 in the morning, take my medication, and then try to lay back down for an hour, and then when it finally kicks in, then I'm awake to get started like that. So I don't know. I like the idea of just like, I take my medicine within 30 minutes, I'm like ready to go. But I think my doctor feels like I need something else that's going to last longer. So I'm not going to take so much all day long. And then also something that's going to, maybe it's going to have that same pick-me-up that the Adderall had. But I don't know, I'm just mixed feelings right now. So I'm supposed to pick up my prescription. They put in the prescription yesterday. The pharmacy said it should be ready today at like 7:45 p.m. I'm like, that's really late. All right, so I'm kind of ready. I just do a very basic makeup. Basically just say I'm putting on my eyeballs. So I just showered. I showered and washed my hair yesterday, so I usually do it every other day. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this dry shampoo just to kind of... So, oh my gosh, so my hair's not all greasy. I'm having those mixed feelings right now. It's making me, like, I was totally fine. I don't know. Okay, so the difference between Vyvanse and Adderall, from my understanding, just from what I've read online, so they're both stimulants and they both are made up of amphetamine salts, right? So Adderall is, I guess, technically 4 different salts, but there's usually like 2 that they mostly talk about, which is dexoamphetamine and then amphetamine, I guess. And then there's Vyvanse, which is, it starts off, it's basically dexoamphetamine only, so it's only 1, but it's coated with like lysine or something like that. So they're digested, they're absorbed and processed differently in your system. Adderall is processed in your gut, and then Vyvanse is, it has to go through the gut, into the bloodstream, through the liver. You know, it takes more, and so that's why it takes longer for it to kick in, because it's got to go through more systems of your body before it works. So it's kind of created also to help with abuse and things like that, right? Because it has to go through there. So it's supposed to have a smoother onset and a smoother offset. So my issue with the Adderall extended release was that the crash at the end was really bad. The onset, I mean, yeah, it was kind of it was a more higher onset, but that didn't bother me. It was the crash at the end of the day that bothered me, and so that's why I liked the instant release, because for some reason, for me, the instant release was actually a more gradual onset than the extended release. So that's why I was like, I wasn't processing it the same way, or the way that it was intended to, I guess. Then the way I would dose it, it tapered off so I wouldn't have a crash, you know what I mean? So I thought it was like, that was kind of working out. So the dexoamphetamine, from my understanding, is what helps give our brains more dopamine. And then I think the other amphetamine salts with Adderall also raises your neuronorepinephrine. Now, dopamine does convert to neuronorepinephrine. So I guess I'm worried, because now I'm going to have more dopamine and less initial neuronorepinephrine, right? I'm not going to have that initial boost. The neuronorepinephrine is kind of like that, the alertness, right? It wakes you up, it's fight or flight, you're alert, but also one big thing I mentioned before, it helps regulate your heartbeat and your sleep pattern and things like that. So for me, I had a lot of heart palpitations before being on the medication, and then that medication actually put my heart back in a proper rhythm. So I'm worried without that, maybe I'm wondering if the heart palpitations are going to come back because I'm not going to have that initial neuronorepinephrine. I'm going to have to wait till my body converts the dopamine to that. But maybe the dopamine is what gives you that extra boost of like motivation, I guess, to do this stuff. So maybe that's what my doctor's thinking. My other concern is that from what I've read online, a lot of people who take the who take Vyvanse are still taking it, an Adderall instant release, as a booster dose in the evening. So it's like, am I still going to be stuck taking 2 of them anyways? I really didn't like the side effects, the way my body felt on the extended release of Adderall. But I did like the productivity part. But I'm worried with Vyvanse, I'm going to have those same side effects. But then again, maybe I won't. Maybe I won't have that big crash at the end of the day because it's going to taper off better. I don't know. Or maybe I won't have some of those side effects because I already am used to a higher dose of Adderall and I'll be on a lower dose of Vyvanse. I have no idea. I don't know. So I just want to get my thoughts out, I guess, before I take the medicine. Like I said, I'm going to call my pharmacist and find out what my copay is going to be. Because a lot of people mention Vyvanse is way more expensive. Some insurances don't cover it, or they don't cover very much of it. So I'm worried about that because I'm not going to pay $100 or more, because some people have to pay like hundreds of dollars. I'm like, I'm not going to pay that. On a side note, I did hurt my arm at work. I like overworked this bicep really bad, so I had a big old knot in here. I thought I tore it, but I went to the doctor, went to the chiropractor, they both looked at it. It's not torn. They said it's just, I had a big knot. It's real overworked. It says for work accommodations, but basically I'm going to be put on light duty for the next month. I do have my notebook where I take my notes, so I am probably going to write in there today, just writing my concerns or whatever, and then we'll, again, we'll try to film tomorrow. All right, I'll check in a little while. Or tomorrow. I don't know.